press. What does that mean, discombobulated? Young people these days, they really irritate me. You know what the word discombobulated means, don't you? They allow perfectly good old words to die until everyone forgets what they mean. Sorry, but what exactly does it mean anyway? Now I've forgotten. What was I saying? Again, senile old man who sometimes forget things. That is the judge's character in a nutshell. Jesus, but it's better than old people who forget what they were saying 5 seconds ago. Well, it looks like we've cleared that up. You can go on with your test. No, we didn't! That didn't get cleared up at all! None of that got cleaned up. We didn't clear up anything. Hey guys, Zack here, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. So in the last episode, we met a Phantom Thief, long story short. So, yeah, so we met a man named Ron DeLite who was apparently a Phantom Thief named Max the Mask. And, he's accused of stealing an urn from the Kurain, the Kurain exhibit at Lordly Taylor. So we gotta figure out how to actually, now we need to actually figure out how to defend him. So what we found out is that he's actually being blackmailed by somebody, and also that, and also Ace Detective Luke Atme, whose name is a pun, he's apparently testifying, so we're going to see what all of that is about. But there is some evidence that he was there, but also it's a little bit wishy-washy since his wallet was found at his old employment building, so it's going to be very interesting. I'm not entirely sure how this is going to go, but we're just going to go into it. I really have nothing beyond that point. I mean, sort of know what we're doing. October 13th, 9:36 a.m., District Court Defendant Lobby, number 4. Hey, Nick. What is it? Is something wrong? Nah, but did you see all the people here? It's crazy. Oh, so check out the Master Mask glassy I bought. Oh! You bought this. Where? From the little tents in front of the courthouse. They have all sorts of things for sale. Okay, so they turned the trial for Mask the Mask into a glorified festival where they're just selling a whole bunch of memorabilia for Mask the Mask. Not entirely sure how I feel about that. Obviously it's gonna make it a lot harder for Phoenix to do his job, and also the prosecutor. So we're going to have to see how that works. Also, we're meeting a new prosecutor named Godot. I have no idea who Godot is. I'm assuming he's the guy who's in the story arc for this chapter. I have no idea who he is other than that. But in any case, what else have we got? You know I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff. Yeah, we know. Master Mask publicity photo was stuck into the court record. So not added to the court record, thrust upon us and thrown into the court record. Come on, I'm guilty. Throw the book at me. Who's screaming like that? Oh, Mr. Wright, you made it. Yeah, I did, but it doesn't look like things are going to get any less ugly for you. Because I did it. I'm the criminal. Me. He's at it again. I sent the calling card to Lordly Taylor. I admit it. But you don't have the Sacred Urn, right? Well, that's true, but it doesn't mean that I didn't commit the crime. Normally, when I say, of course you didn't, I'm being sarcastic, but yikes. Anyway, I admit that I'm guilty. So make sure they give me a guilty verdict, please. I can't really do that in good conscience. I'm a defense attorney. Kind of my job to make sure you get acquitted. Oh, there you are, Ronnie. Bonjour, sweetie. Oh, Desi, honey. Bonjour. Well, actually, I don't really know why I should be speaking French to you at a time like this. Leave it all to me, Ronnie. I swear I'll protect you. You see, actually, the thief is, me. Can I tell you something, Nicky boy? I can guarantee that my Ronnie is innocent. If he's declared guilty, I'll be ever so cross with you. So, why are you smiling when you say it? 'Cause she has that much faith in you to get him not guilty? Well, if you'll excuse me, I've got some errands I need to take care of. I'm counting on you, Nicky boy. Good luck. And off she goes. To be honest, I really don't know whether Ron is mask to mask or not. But there's only one thing I am sure of. He doesn't have the Sacred Urn right now. Mr. DeLite, it's time for you to enter the courtroom. For the time being, I guess I'll have to trust Desiree. So just go with the fact. So we're just going on the fact that he doesn't have the Sacred Urn on him, or knows where it is for that matter. So in any case, October 13th, 10 o'clock a.m., District Court, courtroom number 6. Also, that entire exchange took a half an hour. I call shenanigans. That took 5 minutes to get. Not even 5 minutes, because I did my intro and stuff. That took less than 5 minutes to get through, and yet a half hour has passed. I call shenanigans. Methinks timeline-wise, there's some funny stuff going on. Although, maybe they could have set up, and I don't know. I'm only now commenting on this, but me thinks that there are some things that happen behind the scenes when they're setting up these scenes. Maybe there's some other things that I'm just not aware of. But in any case, yeah, let's set on. Oh! Yeah, it is the guy! Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Ron DeLite. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Yeah, that's the guy. I had a feeling it was the guy. He looks cool. I like his design already. It's just the white hair and the mask. He looks really neat. What about the prosecution? Are you prepared to... What a stupid question. What did you say? Fine. Let me ask you then, Your Honor. Are you ready? Are you ready to pass judgment? Oh, no, I'm not. I will pass judgment after I hear arguments from both sides. Well, if you're not ready yourself, you shouldn't expect others to be. That's a rule to live by. Who are you? I am Godot. Legendary prosecutor. I've never lost a case. So you claim? Ah, he's the one that Detective Atme was talking about. Yeah, he looks interesting. Yes, your reputation precedes you. What kind of cases have you dealt with so far? Ha, none. What did you say? I've never prosecuted a case before. Never? But you said you've never lost before. Because, well, that technically isn't false. He's never prosecuted a case before, so that means he's never lost a case before. Makes absolutely perfect sense that his record be completely 100%. If you've never prosecuted a case before, then obviously you've never lost one. It makes perfect sense. Exactly. I've never lost. I've never won before either. You're quite arrogant for a beginner, aren't you? Even the mightiest of redwoods begin their lives as mere saplings. Yes, but a mask in a court of law? Ha! Don't you know anything? No matter the man, we all wear masks. Either on our faces or over our hearts. Huh. That's an interesting play. That's an interesting... I don't really... That's a good point, I think. This guy is the real deal, alright, Nick. Why does it seem like all prosecutors are the real deal? So he finally meets Mr. Phoenix Trite. Oh, he's... Nick, is he a friend of yours? No, I've never met him before. Yeah, I've never... No, I don't have friends that call me Trite. We've never seen this guy before. Just who is this masked man? I've returned from the depths of hell to do battle with you. Well then, Prosecutor Gobo. It's not Gobo, it's Godot, Your Honor. In any case, please give your... Godo. Okay, so that's how it's pronounced. In any case, please give us your opening statement. Opening statement? Those things are not fit for even dogs to consume. I have only one thing to say before we start. To you, Mr. Trite. Well, what is it? Are you familiar with the saying, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link? I wonder how much you can withstand before you and your case break in two. Okay, that's alright. This guy's interesting. He's very ruthless. Well then, let's hear from the first witness. Who's the witness? It's Mr. Detective. My name is... No one has asked for your name, witness. The important thing is what you know. That's all. Start talking. We're listening. Yes, sir. Alright, witness. First, let's hear about... what you know about the thief that stole the urn. Yes, sir! Alright. Master Mask crimes. Alright, so he's probably going to testify about all the things this guy has done, right? Master Mask is a master thief that first started his crimes to be 6 months ago. He's so confident that he sends his calling card before he even commits the crime, like a phantom thief. We've established this. This was his 5th heist, and as usual, he sent a card to Lordly Taylor. His pattern is always to go after only the most precious art pieces. That's why we're sure it was Master Mask, sir. It fits his MO to a T. So then the actual identity of this Master Mask is... Mr. Goto, what are you? Well, okay then. We're in the middle of a trial here, Mr. Goto. Blacker than a moonless night, hotter and more bitter than hell itself. That is coffee. I'm sure you can grant me at least this much, Your Honor. Oh, please, proceed. Very well, it's only coffee after all. What? You can't be letting him slide this early in the trial. Yeah, Phoenix kinda has a point. This is kind of a little bit weird. In any case, I'm gonna go proceed with my cross-examination now. Well, Nick, what are you going to do? As long as I haven't brought Mr. DeLite's identity, all we can do is show that it wasn't Master Mask who stole the urn. Alright. So how do we do that? Well, first thing first, we should probably press all the statements. Just to make sure we have all the information we need. Have you been involved in the investigation from the beginning? Yep, nobody knows more about the thief than me, pal. It's true, I'm a Zavari, author on thieves. An author? He's written books about thieves? I think he's probably meant to say authority. The fact that this guy can slip through even my finger shows how good he is, pal. It's easy when those fingers happen to be butterfingers. Press harder? So nobody knows more about the thief than you, huh? You got it, pal. Except maybe for the thief's mom, that is. But isn't there someone who knows even more about him than the police? You don't mean Detective Zavari, do you? Who is this person? Zavari? He sounds German. His name is Look at me, sir. I guess I shouldn't have made up such a silly name for him. What the heck? I guess he's not all that famous after all. Anyway, it's true that he did manage to retrieve the last item the thief stole. Oh, I see. It seems you're not the expert you claim to be. It looks like the thief is toying with me even now. Alright. Okay, so... The Master Mask is a master thief and first started his crimes 6 months ago. He's so confident that he sends his calling card... A press? Have you seen all these so-called calling cards? Of course I have. Except... the person in charge of the treasure exhibit never brought their card to the police. Ah, so the 5th one. So I didn't see this one until after the crime occurred. That's because Detective Acme stopped Miss Andrews from taking it to the police. Was the calling card that Lordly Taylor received authentic? Well, all the cards have one in common identifying feature. But we're not releasing that information to the general public. But you're absolutely certain that this card is real. Gumshoe can't say it out loud, but I bet he's talking about Master Mask's emblem. This was his 5th heist, and as usual, he sent a card to Lordly Taylor. Alright, his 5th heist. And your 5th screw-up, huh? Objection, pal! Alright, he doesn't get his own objection, unfortunately. That would have been cool. Just if he shouted objection and it was just, and he just had objection in a little blurb that just says pal under it. That would have been funny as hell, but unfortunately, no. Gumshoe doesn't get his own objection blurb. Unfortunately not. That ain't fair. Maybe you could say I screwed up 4 times. But this last time wasn't my fault. I didn't know about the calling card this time. You, of all people, shouldn't be chuckling about this, Detective Gumshoe. I just want everyone here in the courtroom to know something. If you ever get a calling card from this guy, don't call some super private eye. Call your local police right away. Got me? Wow, it looks like he's really got it in for Detective Acme. To be fair, Detective Acme just kind of... He showed up. The only other time he has actually done a thing is when he got it back from Mask to Mask, and then he apparently did nothing with the 5th one, and then just didn't involve the police at all. So 3 of the 5 times are Gumshoe's fault. The 4th one, not so much. The 5th one, yeah. In any case, Kurain is to always go after only the most precious art pieces. Well, actually, we know the Kurain are... Alright, we already know we know where we're pushing this. Art pieces? Like what, for example? Well, his first target was the famous Tear of Amanon. What's that? Some kind of especially salty teardrop? No, sir, it's a blue diamond. A single rare diamond. Next was the Crown of Bongora. You know, the thing you put on your head. After that was the left hand of Hades, and then the portrait of Megina. Sir, Detective asked me to retrieve the portrait of Megina and return it to the museum. And the target of his fifth and last robbery was the Sacred Urn, right? But isn't it difficult for him to dispose of such famous art pieces? Well, we assume he must have some underworld connections. Somehow, Mr. DeLite doesn't look the type. Yeah, he's a little too sunny to be hanging out in the underworld. Alright, so... and then press this final thing. What do you mean when you say it fits his MO to a T? I was thinking of asking the same thing myself. Alright, I wish you would listen a little more closely, pal. First of all, there's the calling card. We're 100% certain that's authentic. Then there's the fact that he seemed to know all about the security system. And finally, his target was an art piece. Those are all part of the thief's modus operandi. And so, since this robbery seems to fit all those conditions... That's right, it means the Master Mask is behind it all. Nick, it definitely looks like it was Master Mask who stole the urn. But there's no real evidence either way as to whether Ron DeLite is Master Mask. But, also, the urn hasn't turned up yet, let alone in connection to Mr. DeLite himself. So even though we know it was Master Mask that did it, maybe for the time being I should try to show it wasn't Master Mask that did it. Alright, well we already know what it is. I just wanted to see all that dialogue before I actually went in and went on the thing. Well, now we know, we know that urn is invaluable in any stretch of the imagination, so... Can I ask you a little something, Detective Gumshoe? Just hearing the little in that question makes me nervous. You said that he always goes after the most precious art pieces, right? That's right, pal. But there's one problem. That's not what he did in this case. The supposedly priceless urn doesn't exactly rise to the level of precious art. What do you mean? Nick, how can you say such a terrible thing? No, I meant from a financial point of view. I mean, it wouldn't fetch a good price. Well, Prosecutor Godo, what is the value of that urn? The appraisers I spoke to said they couldn't attach a price to it. And I mean that in the worst sense. So in other words, it was not the kind of item that Master Mask would normally go after. That's a very good point. If I understand you correctly, Mr. Wright, you're saying that the theft of the Sacred Urn was not the work of Master Mask. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Actually, all I did was point out the contradiction. The argument made itself, but... Well, first of all, we need to get this issue cleared up. Was this last robbery the work of Master Mask or not? What do you have to say about this, Mr. Godo? This coffee here, it's my own special blend. I call it Godo number 107. I'm trying to decide whether to cut down on the acidity or the bitterness. That's the only thing I've got in my mind right now, Mr. Trite. What? If you're really a man, you should clean up your own mess. Sorry, but I don't get what you mean. If you're saying it wasn't Master Mask that stole the urn, then it must be someone imitating Master Mask's methods. A fake. A fake Master Mask? Fake to mask? That sounds so ridiculous, but I like it. Now, before I decide on my coffee, I believe some proof is in order, Mr. Trite. Proof that the person who appeared at Loreley Taylor that night was actually a fake. Alright. Though I don't approve of Mr. Godo's behavior, his point is valid. Mr. Wright, we're waiting. It looks like I'm going to have to prove it. I need proof that the person at Loreley Taylor that night was in fact fake the mask. Well? Then what do we got? Okay, I really don't know, so I'm gonna go with this. What is this evidence supposed to prove? Ah, well, it proves something here is a fake, alright. It proves that this lawyer's a fake. Alright. Prosecutor should know how to twist a knife. This is no time to be impressed. Think it over again. Alright, so when he stole the urn, his photo was taken, right? Who knows? Maybe there's something on there that shows he's a fake. Is she talking about the photo we got from Atme? Wait a minute. It looks like a... Okay, wait a minute. So, it just pointed... Is there something... Maybe this? So, it says this is the thing, so I'm gonna submit that. The proof is right here. This looks like a photo taken by a security camera. But if you look closely, you'll notice something peculiar about it. Well then, why don't you go ahead and show us what it is? Go on, use this pointer and show us what about this picture is so peculiar. Well, the fact that this exists, for starters.
Take that!
It's right here, I think. Is this what was so peculiar? The place you're pointing to is all wrong. What do you mean? The only thing peculiar is this courtroom, on top of your head. Nick, are you going to let them get away with making fun of your hair? Yes, at least until I know he can't use these goggles to fry me or something. Well, anyway. Okay, so we gotta figure out... Still haven't given up, so what is it then? Go on, use this pointer. What am I even looking at? Oh, wait a minute. He's missing his emblem on his chest. I get it now. Okay, so right here, there's nothing here.
Take that!
It's right here, of course. You mean, Mask to Mask? I have here a piece of reference I would like the court to take a look at. Isn't that the publicity photo I bought this morning? Yeah, there's an emblem on his chest that's missing. The problem I have with the security camera is this brooch on the mask's chest. A brooch? Here? Bailiff, get my steed! We need to retreat at once! A brooch, Your Honor. It's a sort of clasp for holding one's cape on. A clasp, eh? Ah, I see now. But the master masking a security camera photo. Ah! He has no brooch. That brooch is the same as the emblem on the masked calling card and serves as a symbol. But the thief that broke into Lordly Taylor wasn't wearing a brooch. In other words, this Mask Your Mask is a fake. I've been fooled again! Okay, so now we have the evidence that we need to push through with this. Order! It's true, undeniably true. Detective Gumshoe, how? How could you have overlooked this? I'm sorry, sir. I don't know how I... And he doesn't seem to care. Hey, now. If you're gonna have a pity party, invite me too. But Mr. Goto, you deserve some blame in this too. How could you have overlooked such a large brooch? The brooch you're talking about? Do you mean this? That's Master Mask's brooch. Where did you find it? Well, I've always had a good nose for evidence. I got it at the crime scene. It was hidden in the shadow of a big female Buddha statue. Buddha statue? You must mean the Amy Faye statue. Why didn't you tell me about that, sir? I always put evidence away in my pocket. After all, it's the safest place for crucial evidence. This guy is one cool customer. It's a little early to be shaken up, isn't it, little lady? That friend of yours left pretty little hickeys on there, too. Hickeys? Figuratively speaking, of course. I'm referring to DeLite's fingerprints. And there's the evidence. What? What? The defendant's fingerprints are on the brooch? Order in the court. Okay, so now we're in trouble. Mr. Goto, let me see that brooch. I've grown attached to my metallic girlfriend here. Take good care of her. It appears to have been torn off of some clothing. There's a little bit of cloth left on the back. Obviously, there must have been a big struggle that night at the crime scene. Uh-oh. Phoenix, we have a problem. The masked brooch has been added to the court record. Found in the shadow of Amy Faye's statue, looks like it was torn off some clothing. You mess with Goto. And you get burned. Grr. He's been playing me like a violin. Well, Judge, I'm about ready to call my next witness. Huh? You're done with me? But I haven't proved anything yet. You've proven your own incompetence. That's good enough. That doesn't sound good at all. Fair enough. But bailiff, bring the next witness into the courtroom. Finally, time for the ace detective to make his appearance. Huh? I'm interested to see how this is gonna play out. Alright. 1 second. 1 second is 1 drip of the coffee pot. Let's hurry it up. Shh! Silence! Hee. Now I see. It's all becoming clear. What's clear? Zavari! The truth has once again been elegantly revealed to me. What we have here is a judge and a prosecutor. A coffee maniac at that. Am I correct? Well, yes, that's right. He's not really telling anybody anything, but that's pretty much correct. Ah, not bad. Not bad at all. You're the first person that's ever been able to penetrate my secret veil. Well, Sir Prosecutor, let me introduce myself. My name is Luke Atme, Ace Detective and Rising Star illuminating the heavens. Boy, these two make a perfect pair. They'd either be best friends or they'd tear each other's heads off. I've heard that on the night of the crime you were alone on security detail. You have heard correctly. My specially made monocle is worth more than 100 Detective Gumshoes. If a Detective Gumshoe was worth anything, that is. That's kind of mean, but okay. Was this guy all by himself anyway? There must be some reason, I'm sure of it. Well then, tell us what the special monocle of yours witnessed. Alright, so why was this guy all by himself? That is very interesting. It was approximately 1 o'clock in the morning, just after the date changed. Alright. That's when my nemesis, the infamous Master Mask, dancingly descended upon me. Just as I began to turn, the coward struck a fierce blow upon my noble head. Darkness swallowed me before I could land a single strike. When I woke, he was gone. 30 minutes later, I used an emergency phone to notify the police. So you didn't get a clear look at the criminal? My specially made monocle never misses a thing. However, that is limited to things that fall within my own visual range. But of course, that's only natural. I fail to see why the witness seemed so proud of his performance that evening. Yeah, me too. Well, sir old-timer, let me explain. We're not speaking of any ordinary thief, but of the king of thieves, the great Master Mask, my arch-enemy. That is what my instincts and my years of experience tell me. Very well. Proceed with cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Well, we already know where the problem is. I've already figured that out. Look, I mean, let's just look at the court record. So, it says that this came off during like there was torn off some clothing, and it was claimed to be ripped off during a struggle, but we know for a fact that that wasn't the case, considering that that this knocked him out with a blow to the back of the head and was knocked out immediately. So something is very shifty there. All right, let's just push everything to make sure. So that would be 1 o'clock in the morning on the 12th, correct? That's an impressive deduction, sir lawyer. You were on security duty that night. Where exactly were you at the time? A penetrating question. I was in the basement warehouse near the computer. Near the computer, huh? So then you weren't trying to remain hidden, I take it. Up to this point, I have tried to remain concealed while waiting for the thief. Yeah, he said the same thing yesterday, too. Gumshoe always said that they've never spied the thief at the crime scene before. Precisely! That is precisely why I chose not to hide last night. I knew that by not concealing myself, I would be putting pressure on the thief. It looks like the thief was the one applying pressure. On your pitch-knee head, that is. In any case... Alright. That's what my nemesis, the infamous Master Mask, dancingly descended upon me. Alright. Dancingly descended? From where exactly? Well, from the entrance, I suppose. Where else? So, in actuality, he neither danced nor descended. Someone please save me. Fair enough. So how is it that you didn't notice the thief? My eyes were looking for the thief's shadow while my ears listened for his footfalls. But even so, the dastardly criminal managed to sneak up on me. It can only be due to his subtly camouflaged cape and soft-soled shoes. I hereby W Ace Dunce. Fair enough. Just as I began to turn, the coward struck a fierce blow upon my noble head. Alright, so what happened? You didn't see the criminal's face when that happened? Well, that's the difficult part. How should I put it? I saw his mask. That's all I can recall. That's not very solid as far as testimony goes. However, fortunately, I have my third monocle, the security camera, at the ready. It captured his image perfectly. This should be sufficient, I believe. Well, as long as this photo is authentic, I don't see a problem here. Well, Mr. Dodo, do you have any problem with the photo? Good, then let's continue with the testimony. He doesn't say anything. Dr. Swallowed me before I could land a single strike, and when I looked, he was gone. Just attacked and knocked unconscious, and you weren't able to do a thing? That's certainly some very impressive deductive work. Very well, Sir Lawyer. Have you ever been suddenly struck on the head? As a matter of fact, yes! Huh? Well, actually, yes, by a fire extinguisher. And what happened? I was knocked out. And you lost your memory, too. You see? You have no right to look down at me then, do you? The only reason I didn't lose my memory was because I had more brains to begin with. He may have brains, but the wiring to the self-reflection part seems to be severed. In any case, that was how I was knocked senseless. And then... 30 minutes later, I used an emergency phone to notify the police. Where is this phone now? About this 30 minutes. My silver cord was loosened and my soul fled to the golden halls of Elysium. As usual, I have no idea what this guy is saying. I think he's saying that he was out cold. Yeah, this guy's a little batty. So, what happened during these 30 minutes? No one can say, Your Honor. That span of time has truly vanished into the ether. It's just what is going on about. Just what is he going on about? Exactly. There's something suspicious about Detective Atme. How could he not have noticed when the thief came in? Also, he says he was knocked unconscious before he could fight back. But that can't be right. It contradicts the evidence. Huh? Which piece? The real question is, why would he tell us such an obvious lie? Okay, so we need to press on his third or fourth statement, I think. So let's present this, since obviously the brooch, Godo claims it was torn off during some sort of struggle, but based on this, we know it's not true, so... Yeah, there we go. Mr. Atme, could you take a look at this with that special monocle of yours? Aha! This belongs to the criminal mastermind, my arch nemesis, Master Mask. It is, in point of fact, Master Mask's brooch. It was found on the floor of the basement warehouse. I wonder how that happened. Ha! Elementary, my dear lawyer. Obviously, it wasn't glued on well enough. Not quite. It clearly shows signs of having been ripped off a piece of clothing. Ripped off? Aha! We can only deduce that the thief struggled with someone that night. That's the only thing I can think of. And there's only one person that was in a position to have a struggle with the thief. The only person that was on security duty that night, you, Detective Atme. Good. And now we have a point. Detective Atme, you must have fought with the thief that night. So why did you lie in your testimony to the court? Witness, giving false testimony is a serious crime. Right, no. Wait just a moment, sir, old-timer. Don't talk to me like I'm living in a nursing home. Fair enough. The judge is not very happy with people calling him old. We've established that. He doesn't like being talked down to like he's some sort of senile old man. I mean, he is a senile old man, but that's beside the point. Or the very least, he's very lax with his duties as a judge. He does seem to just kind of go along for the ride a lot of the time. That's just his character. As a character in the Ace Attorney series, that's just his character. He just goes along with whatever's going on at the time. That's not really his fault. That's just how the story's written. I just remembered, Your Honor. I was just confused because I've been dealing with so many cases lately. I call shenanigans. true measure of a man is the amount of work he does. That's what I always say. Nick, you can only handle one case at a time, isn't that right? You talk too much. Witness, so are you now saying that you and the thief fought? Hold on. That's quite enough, Your Honor. Excuse me? Save the big questions for the testimony. That's one of my rules. Indeed, I understand. Look at me, agree completely. Alright, fight with the thief. Okay, so now it's time to... Indeed, it's true that I looked away from the door for a brief moment. However, look at me cannot be so easily discombobulated. Discombobulate. Smack. Okay, I just had to make a reference to that Sherlock Holmes movie. I did like that movie. I watched that movie a while ago, but it is a very good movie. It's a very funny movie. Unfortunately, the thief grabbed a weapon from the side and rendered me senseless. A true gentleman fights only with his own fists, but they were not enough. His fist blow struck true, bam. His first blow struck true, bam. That's all she wrote. So in the end, you did catch a glimpse of Master Mask? Correct. It was during his third crime that he struck me from behind. It seems that my memory has become a tad jumbled, so to speak. Well, that's certainly understandable. I myself always get confused about which testimony goes with which case. That can't be good. No, it cannot. Again, this is he seems kind of like a senile old man at times. He's good at his job, but sometimes I wonder. Alright, fight with the thief. Alright. Alright. Press. So, why did you look away from the door anyway? In addition to the camera, I had prepared a variety of other sensors as well. The alarm on one of those had gone off, so I had to check the data. That's why I went to the computer. Elegantly, of course. So, you were momentarily vulnerable when you were working on the computer. What should I do? Should I ask some more questions? Absolutely! About the sensor. Where the hell is that sensor? What kind of sensors are you talking about? There are other places in the basement that someone could enter and exit from. There's an air conditioner ducts, sewer pipes, and a cat door as well. I hooked up heat detecting, infrared, and ultraviolet sensors to each of them. That's a lot of hardware. Was it all yours? A Lordly Taylor department store was kind enough to provide the monitoring hardware. Naturally, the security camera that took the photo belongs to them as well. In other words, he couldn't have rigged the equipment, huh? Has that cleared up any doubts you had about me, Sir Lawyer? No? I still have another question. Alright, let's press this guy again. Press! So why did you look away from the door anyway? In addition to the camera, I had prepared... Okay, so let's... Alright, so... Let's ask about the computer. So, did that computer belong to Lordly Taylor as well? Correct. Well, except for the program that manages the data. That was specially designed by me, Luke at me. In that case, he could have easily manipulated the data. Hehehehe. What's wrong, Sir Lawyer? Press? What does that mean, discombobulated? Young people these days, they really irritate me. You know what the word discombobulated means, don't you? They allow perfectly good old words to die until everyone forgets what they mean. Sorry, but what exactly does it mean anyway? Now I've forgotten. What was I saying? Again, senile old man who sometimes forget things. That is the judge's character in a nutshell. Jesus, but it's better than old people who forget what they were saying 5 seconds ago. Well, it looks like we've cleared that up. You can go on with your test. No, we didn't! That didn't get cleared up at all! None of that got cleaned up! We didn't clear up anything! Unfortunately, they grabbed a weapon from the side and rendered me senseless. What kind of weapon? What do you mean by weapon from the side? Naturally, that thief had no idea that I, Luke at me, was hiding in that area. He grabbed the sword from the statue that was standing by the door to the warehouse. Sword? You mean the sword that was all twisted like a tree branch? Correct! Fortunately for me, the blade was not sharp. Okay, so he is talking about the Shichido. So, the thief armed himself with a sword. And what about yourself, Witness? A true gentleman fights only with his fists, but they were not enough. You had that much faith in your own fighting abilities? But of course! In college, I was the second in charge of the boxing club. I'm sorry if I failed to find that appropriately impressive. However, my opponent in the ring this time was my arch nemesis, Master Mask. This guy is a real piece of work. His first blow struck true, bam, and that's how she wrote. Okay, so what do you mean? Can you tell us a little more about what happened? My opponent was both powerful and vicious. You might say he was powericious. That's not a real word, but okay. But powericious? I assumed the at-me fighting stance, but a sudden flash of light blinded me. That, of course, was checkmate. My opponent had bested me. What do I do now? Should I ask for more about this? Absolutely. You were blinded? So, what was this flash of light that blinded you? It was bathed in a golden light that seemed to come from the statue of that woman. The statue of Amy Faye, I'm guessing. Well, that wasn't very much help at all. Well, what do you think, Nick? Well, there's one thing that I'm absolutely sure of now. Yeah? What is it? This look at me guy, he's definitely hiding something. But why? I think I'm starting to figure out what really happened on that night. And about the true nature of this detective. Alright, let's do this again. Okay, so let's keep... I'm curious about the at-me fighting stance. What was this at-me fighting style? I'm sorry, but that's a trade secret. I really can't say anymore. But... I suppose I can tell you if I absolutely must. The main thing is to put your back to the wall. That way no one can get you behind you. That's it? That's the at-me fighting style? Well, Mr. Wright, what about that testimony? That's very important because he took a blow to the back of the head. Of course it's important. We've learned a detective's secret technique after all. Yes, indeed. I'll remember to use it if I ever take a walk alone late at night. Why the heck is he eyeballing me like that? It's creeping me out. Probably because of the situation with Shelly the Killer, if I had to guess. He's probably still convinced that Phoenix wants him dead. Probably. If I had to guess. That seems to be a callback to that. Now then, witness, we'll go ahead and add that secret information to your official testimony. Alright. Put my back to the wall to fight, but the thief's blow landed upon my third eye. No. Because we have evidence to the contrary that this thing struck you on the back of the head.
Objection!
Detective Abby, your testimony is crumbling like a house of cards. What fun is this, Sir Lawyer? It is truly a pleasure to cross swords with you. And now, once again, you have thrown down the gauntlet at my armored feet. I believe this is what you said yesterday. No, the coward must have wormed his way in through somewhere beside the door. Then my arch-enemy struck me on the head from behind with this gruesome item here. From behind, huh? But just now you testified that he struck you on the forehead. I hardly think you could forget where you were hit on the head. It seems I've made another mistake. Abby, that's not the only strange part of your testimony. What do you mean by that? For example, the very fact that you hit the calling card from the police itself is strange. It's almost as if you were afraid they were going to help with security. Geniuses such as myself has always been misunderstood. How sad. That's wrong.
Objection!
Okay, he has a cool objection. To err is human, to forgive divine. Humans aren't machines, they have souls, feelings. They live, they die, they love, they hate. And yes, they even make mistakes.
Objection!
Okay. Hey, hold on, it's not as pretty as that. Really? What is it then? Then? Always chase a riddle down to the end. That's one of my rules. Okay. This is it. This might be my chance to turn things around. Time to prove... Mr. Wright, what exactly is it that you're asserting? Very well, Your Honor. The defense asserts that... Master Mask. That's the only thing that can make sense, so... The answer is simple. It's all clear to me now. Detective Luke Atmey's true identity is actually Master Mask. Yeah? Alright, now we're on the warpath. Order in the court. Mr. Wright, what is the meaning of this? There are too many unnatural parts of Mr. Atmey's story. He says that he was hiding at the crime scene, which is why no one ever saw him there. And then, in his last case, he managed to outperform Detective Gumshoe and the entire police force to miraculously retrieve the stolen treasure. That's because I analyzed the crime scene data and made an exquisitely elegant deduction. I picked up clues that the police overlooked in order to arrive at a... Okay. Oh, please. The explanation is far simpler than that, Detective Atmey. The truth is that you are, in fact, Master Mask. But, Mr. Wright, this photo, it clearly shows Master Mask. The security camera belongs to the Lordly Taylor department store. You shouldn't have been able to manipulate it. Except, he didn't need to manipulate it. He gained access to the warehouse under the pretense of providing security. Then he simply dressed up as the thief and stole the urn. So, the ace detective is actually an ace thief. Is this true, witness? Aha. Alright. The mask's MO is pure genius, and so am I, Luke Atmey, ace detective. You're very clever to have come to such a conclusion. I am impressed, sir, lawyer. What? You okay? Why? He's not really denying it. Witness, you're admitting it? Nick, now's your chance. Yes, time to put the last nail in this guy's coffin. Detective Atmey, when you assume they had Deep's identity. Oh. And he threw his coffee at me. What the hell? Why? That's mean. And that burns like hell. Go to blend number 102. My personal favorite. Why are you throwing Mr. Goto? The ace detective is actually an ace thief. I smell a best-selling novel. There's only one problem. It simply isn't true. But Mr. Goto, Mr. Wright has made some very strong points tonight. I will admit my opponent has woven a compelling narrative out of whole cloth. But it is, in fact, nothing more than a patchwork quilt, Mr. Trite. If this detective really is the thief, then show us proof of your claim. But it had to have better be hot, and there's perfect bits of coffee dripping from your face. Well, Mr. Wright, don't just stand there. This court would like to see this decisive proof you have. Quickly. Huh? Oh, yes, of course. What's the big rush? Are you alright, Nick? Atmey looks pretty rattled right now, and also he admitted to it. I'd like to finish this right now if I can. But I can't really... Can I really do it? The decisive evidence that proves Mr. Atmey is in fact Master Mask. Court record. Actually, no. Yes? Yes! Because, well, we have a couple of pieces of evidence. Namely that Ron's wallet was found at KB Security the night of the crime. And obviously, if he was indeed Master Mask, it wouldn't be there. So, we're gonna... I'm gonna save, just to be on the safe side. But I'm pretty sure it's the wallet that's going to point me in the general direction of what I need to do. As usual, the defense comes prepared, Your Honor. Very well, then. Let's see what you've got. Please present proof that Master Mask is actually Mr. Luke Atmey. Ron's wallet. That's the only thing I can think of. So... Here's your proof. What do you think, Mr. Goto? It looks to me like Mr. Trite is still a mite sleepy. Perhaps you'd like a big mug of my special Goto blend? Well... No thanks, I'm fine, really. Oh, that didn't... I thought that counted. Alright, time to load again, I guess. That's why I saved! That's why we saved. Okay, so... Well, if we have... do we have anything else, then? Has yet to be found would be the other thing, because obviously the urn's still missing. Nobody knows where the hell the urn is. Proof? Of course, I got nothing. Okay, just what I thought. Alright, a man has to hold his head up high no matter how bad things get, after all. I see. I thought perhaps you had some evidence to back up your assertion. Okay, apparently... This is no good. I've got to stay on the attack. I'll never get another chance to prove this guy is a thief. Don't give up, Nick. Think harder and try again. It's no good. I'm not ready yet. But, are you going to just give up and let us lose this? So, you've come to your senses, have you, Sir Laura? I can't think of a counterattack at all. It seems the cloud of suspicion surrounding this witness is lifted. Mr. Godo, if you have any... Oh! What? Who? Hello? Okay, so that's... Who are you? That doesn't really matter right now, does it? Mr. Light, what are you doing here? Nicky boy? The thing you've been looking for... I think I found it. You mean... that bag? No, not the bag. What's in the bag? Well... that's... the Sacred Urn! Nick, it's the urn! Well, that worked out! Order, order, order! You, madam! That urn, where did you find it? You'll never believe it. It was in the office of Mr. Fancy Pants Ace Detective. Look at me. Oh, Desi, you're still the best! Sacred Urn updated in the court record. Alright, well, how do you explain that one, Mr. Acme? Alright, even if you are going to have a hard time weaseling out of this one.
Objection!
Ha, pathetic. Mr. Godo, do you have something that you wish to say? Yes, Your Honor. It simply amazes me how quickly time changed. In the old days, a man was to be taken at his word. It's truly sad. You're still denying that Mr. Acme was involved? Before casting aspersions at Detective Acme, consider the young lady here. Your name is Desiree DeLite. Is that correct? Yes. What about it? Ha! How charming. The lengths that a woman was willing to go to save her husband is truly inspiring. What are you insinuating? As the wife of the criminal, you could have discovered that stolen urn anywhere. Including the office of the good detective here. So you found the urn. What does that prove? It certainly doesn't prove where the urn was before you found it. What? I just brought it here from the detective's office. Please, madam. This town is already filled to the brim with lies. Any more could only compound the tragedy we have been witness to. You're wrong. I would never do such a thing. Mr. Light, please, Nicky boy, you've got to help me talk some sense into these people. There must be some way. I've got to prove that urn was actually in the Acme Detective Agency. Well, there's two options here. We can either testify about what we saw or show fingerprints on the urn. Actually. Well, we've got options. I'm gonna save again, because I have no idea. Should we test? I think we either testify or show fingerprints on the urn. What's wrong? Isn't it your job to come up with something to say? Nick, come on. It should be easy to prove. After all, we checked out by that bag, didn't we? You're right. I remember doing that. Whatever was in there, it was hard and round, and smooth, too. Yes, it must have been the urn. It must have. But I never actually saw it with my own eyes. Acme walked in just when I was about to have a look at it. So even if it was the urn in there, I can't testify that it was. Ack, you're right. Ha. It looks like I was wrong about me, Mr. Trite. In this town overflowing with lies, there's still a single flickering candle of truth. Nicky boy. Well, it's true that I never actually saw the urn, but maybe I can still testify about it from another angle. What about it, Mr. Wright? Have you given up yet? There must be some way. I've got to prove that urn was actually in the Acme Detective Agency. Show fingerprints on the urn? I can prove where the urn was. By the fingerprints on it. Fingerprints, eh? Oh, come now! Now you're really making me laugh, Sir Lawyer. Fingerprints indeed. May I go on? Good. Now, it would be perfectly understandable if my fingerprints were on the urn. After all, it was I who was guarding the urn in the first place. In any case, I am always in the habit of wearing gloves, as you can see. So unfortunately, my fingerprints wouldn't be evidence of anything. What about it, Mr. Wright? This witness's fingerprints would mean nothing anyway. Nick, what are you going to do now? I've come too far to turn back now. And he must have brought the urn back to his office yesterday. And there, I'm sure someone must have left their fingerprints on it. The defense proposes that the fingerprints of this person should be on the urn. Profiles. Actually, you picked it up and touched it. Me, what more can I say? Well, you physically touched the urn. Alright. You touched the urn, so you should know that it is indeed real.
Take that!
So what is all the fuss about fingerprints anyway? Mr. Acme, do you recall the events of yesterday? Hey, Nick, come on, open it up. Hey, wait a minute. We can't just open his private property. Don't be such a fuddy-duddy. This is an important investigation. Well, what's in there? Hang on a sec, I'm taking it out now. Whatever it is, it feels kinda hard and smooth. Well, hello there. It's true that I didn't get a chance to look at the bag at the time, but I did touch what was inside. What? You touched it? And I remember it very well. It was smooth and hard. That was just... Your Honor, I'd like the court to examine the fingerprints on that urn. If my fingerprints are on there, then it proves that the urn was in Detective Atmey's office.
Objection!
He doesn't have anything. Well, even if your fingerprints are on the urn, it still doesn't prove when they were put there, does it? Of course it does. What did you say? It's not what I say, but what Agent Andrews, the person in charge of the exhibition, said. I polished it until it was just about glowing. I thought maybe I could make it look more valuable. Ooh. Okay, that's a good point. If she polished it that much, she must have removed any and all fingerprints on it. And the only chance I had to get my fingerprints on it after that was... yesterday at the Acme Detective Agency. At this blend, go up blend number 107. I've decided it's a little too bitter after all. And he's overheating. Order, order, order! I accept the defense's request. Bailiff, take this urn and... Wait! Wait a moment, Your Honor. There's no need for that. No need for you say. Precisely. I already know Mr. Wright's fingerprints are on the urn. But what are you saying? Yes, I finally broken him down. Take a good look, everyone. Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I was forced to create one by myself. Here I am, the tragic clown. This guy is nuttier than a fruitcake. You see, it was me all along. I'm the one and only Master Mask. Haha, I hope you'll enjoy my little performance. He is nuts. Alright, well that was short. Well, Mr. Godo, what's Mr. Acme's condition? He's still in the lobby, laughing insanely, Your Honor. I wish I could enjoy the joke as much as he seems to be. Alright, well, it looks like the matter has been settled. I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man. Besmirching him with the title of thief. Nick, you were right after all. Yeah, I guess Mr. DeLite really wasn't the thief. The court finds the defendant, Mr. Ron DeLite. Uh-oh. You're wrong! Wrong, I tell you! I mean... Not exactly wrong so much, but actually not right is what I was really trying to say. Oh no, he's not. This can't be happening. The thief, the sneaky, odious thief who's been stealing all the treasures. It's me, I'm him. I'm the one you want. I'm the thief, I tell you. So do it. Pronounce me guilty, please. Well, I don't know what kind of kangaroo court you all think this is, but the true identity of the thief has already been proven. Please hurry and pass judgment. What are you talking about? I already confessed. I'm the thief, I tell you. This is not working. Well, now we have the actual evidence to prove that he couldn't have been there to steal it. Mr. Godo, don't just stand there drinking coffee. Ha. Hey there, Mr. Thief. Yes, sir? If you're really a man, then clean up your own mess. I'm sorry. I'm afraid I just don't have any idea what you mean. If you are Master Mask, then prove it. That's what it means. Yes, sir. I'd be happy to. He says he'll be happy to, Nick. It's kinda cute. He's 100% committed to his fantasy. Good boy. Just remember one thing. A boy only gets one chance in his life to become a man. I know that. I won't fail. I swear. Okay then. Talk. We're all listening. I'm interested to see what he has to say as well. Oh well. Let's all have a listen to this confession. Fair enough. Is this really a confession at this point, though? Alright. The truth is, I've been Master Mask all along. I mean, you can't prove that I'm not actually Master Mask, can you? I don't have an alibi for the night of the urn was stolen, after all. I donned my costume that night and dancingly descended upon the scene of the crime. Look, you can see me right there in the photo. That's me. As for my brooch, I snagged it on the door handle and as it got torn off, that's all. Okay. Well, we actually do have an alibi. I don't like the direction this trial has taken. But this is how every trial goes, at least with me anyway. Yeah, ha. Well, we already know. You're doing great. Hehehe. Stop it, Mr. Godo. You're embarrassing me. Like I said, you're only going to get one chance to testify, alright? But if you make it through this with flying colors, I'll keep my promise too. I'll make sure you stay locked up in prison as the one and only true Master Mask. Thank you so much, Mr. Godo. I'll do my best. Alright, Mr. Wright, I'm afraid it's time for the cross-examination. Yeah, well, we know exactly what's wrong with it. We found his wallet! At the scene of we found his wallet in a completely unrelated place. This just... You may think you're the real Master Mask, but your wife thinks you're delusional. I haven't told Desi yet. About my true identity, I mean. Believe me, I've got my reasons. With the way your room is decked out, how could she not know about it? Even thieves have complicated family situations, I suppose. What should I do? It sounds like we're about to get sidetracked again. Press harder. So why are you withholding the truth of your wife? Well, first of all, I don't think she'd believe me anyway. And second, if there's one thing that Desi absolutely detests, it's criminals. If that's the case, then why did you ever try thieving to begin with? Well, Desi is crazy about shopping. She's a real shopaholic. But she's the love of my life, Your Honor. I guess you could say I'm a Desi-holic. Well, so you do have a complicated family situation after all. Alright, that's enough. Please continue with your testimony. I beg of you. I mean, you can't prove that I'm not actually Master Mask, can you? Well? Oh, I thought you were going to be the one to show us proof. You know, that you're the real Master Mask and not just some kind of obsessed fanboy? Hey now, that's not fair. Why do I have to do all the hard work anyway? Maybe because you're the one making the outrageous claim? For a change? Come on, Nick. You know that Mr. Light couldn't have committed the crime. You're the one with the fancy law degree. It's time to put it to work already. I need some kind of proof that Ron couldn't possibly be Master Mask. Well, I guess if you had that kind of proof, we wouldn't still be here, would we? For the time being, maybe I need to shift strategy. I should try to show that Mr. Light couldn't have stolen the urn. Anyway, well, I don't have an alibi for the night the urn was stolen after all. Let's keep pressing. I want to make sure we have all the information. You got no alibi. I've been a judge for a long time, and this is the first time I've ever heard a defendant brag about having no alibi. But I tell you, I was at Lordly Taylor that night. No. That's too vague, even for me. To be more precise, I was down in the basement warehouse. Hold on. What is it, Nick? Where was Ron DeLite when the crime happened anyway? if we can prove he had an alibi after all, this case would be a piece of cake. Well, you're right, but... Ha! You think you can prove that? Wake up and smell the coffee. Well, I think maybe I can. Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence that shows the defendant has an alibi? Actually, yes, I do, because I have his wallet. I have the evidence. Or do you think I'm still some sort of third-rate rookie? Oh, I've never seen you this angry before. I'm not surprised. Anger is the last refuge of the pathetic. I thought I was more confident than angry. Well then, let's see this evidence already. Show us the court evidence that proves where your client was on the night of the crime. His wallet. His wallet was found at KB Security, so we know for a fact he was there.
Take that!
Mr. DeLite, this wallet belongs to you, correct? Ah, yes, it does. I had lost it somewhere. Mr. Wright, when did you find that wallet? You should report to the police right away. No, you don't understand. This is an important piece of evidence. Evidence? Mr. DeLite, when did you first notice that you lost your wallet? Let's see. I think it was on the night of the crime. But I know I still had it when Desi and I went out for dinner. This wallet was found approximately 1 a.m. at KB Security headquarters. What? Surely you're not serious. Yes, I am serious. And don't call me Shirley. This proves that Mr. DeLite was, in fact, at KB Security that night. No! So, if the defendant was at KB Security at 1 o'clock in the morning, then that proves that he had a waterside alibi. No! Furthermore, considering the distance between Lorelei Taylor and KB Security, it would have taken 30 minutes to get there by car, according to Larry anyway. Well, Mr. Godo, do you have anything to say? And stop drinking that coffee! Fair enough! Come on, Mr. Thief. Don't let this guy beat you. Tell him why he's wrong. You're the one who calls me thief, Mr. Godo. Alright, I'll try. I'll do it. I will. He's really got Mr. DeLite all worked up. Yeah, but he's not gonna be able to prove anything. Yeah, like he's a kid at a first day of school. Look, it's just ridiculous. Why would I have dropped my wallet at KB Security? Someone must have planted it there to make it look like I was there and not at the heist. Planted it there? He's really reaching now. Mr. DeLite, you probably dropped your wallet when you took it out to use this, didn't you? The key card to KB Security's CEO office. No. Ha, that was a pretty good try, Mr. Trite. Unfortunately, you've overlooked one small thing. What? Motive, of course. Why would this thief go to KB Security in the middle of the night anyway? Well, Mr. Wright, it looks like you need some more evidence after all. Grr, this stupid kid. Now then, let's see your evidence. This evidence that shows why Mr. DeLite went to KB Security at 1 a.m. that night. Found him on his room. If you don't want your identity revealed to the world, come to KB Security at 1 a.m. and bring 50,000. If you don't, I'll take that red diamond you see the other day instead. He was blackmailed. So this.
Take that!
Mr. DeLite, I believe you've seen this before, correct? That's... What is it? A blackmail letter. That's what it looks like from the contents. But blackmail? Yes. Basically it says, bring $50,000. That certainly sounds like blackmail, alright? At the time of the theft, Mr. DeLite was dealing with that blackmailer himself. In the KB Security CEO office, a full half hour away from the scene of the crime. No! Okay. He's just chugging his coffee. Order! So, when the theft of the urn occurred, the defendant was at KB Security. It looks like a perfect case for the defense.
Objection.
You may see it as a perfect case, Judge, but to me... Well, let's just say that my Goda Blend 107 impresses me a lot more. What are you trying to say? You say the thief was being blackmailed by the CEO of a security company. But, did you actually investigate the CEO at all? Huh? Well, no, I guess not. Accusing a man of blackmail with no proof? I'm not sure what I think about that. Not sure what I think about that. At least I know what I think of you. Good point. I'm not sure what I think of it myself. You claim that the defendant entered the CEO's office, but you will need at least one witness to corroborate your claim, Mr. Wright. Nick, I think we're going to have to track down the CEO guy. No, we don't have to track down the CEO at all. What do you mean by that, Mr. Trite? There is someone else who can testify. This is the person who can testify that the keycard was used at 1 a.m. that night. Well, we know, Larry was there, so he can easily testify. My friend picked up Ron DeLite's wallet while working at the night of the crime. He was there. He knows.
Take that!
Well, who is this useless-looking young man? Mean! That is Larry Butts! You don't make fun of Larry. He was in a previous trial you did. You should know by now that he's an old friend of mine. Actually, he's been in several previous trials, but that's beside the point. You don't remember him, Your Honor? Not exactly. But just looking at his picture makes the bile start to rise in my throat. It looks like he doesn't remember the case from 2 years ago. He probably blocked out that memory on purpose. Anyway, this man was working as a guard at KB Security that night. Oh? The question at hand is, this keycard. Yep, that's the keycard they use in the building I work. According to the serial number, this one is for the CEO's office. You need to get into that room, and every single time you use that card, it leaves a record. Yeah, it tells you exactly who entered the room and when. Alright. As you can see, there's no need to investigate the CEO of KB Security. We should be able to discover the truth simply by analyzing this keycard's data. Did you do all of that just to make a spit take? Alright, well, that seems that that's wrapped up. Well, Mr. Goto, the name of the CEO of KB Security is Kane Bullard. I was unable to contact him directly, but I got the keycard data. Here. So what does it show? Each keycard has its own serial number, and they leave detailed records of their use. According to this data, this card was used at 1 a.m. on the morning of the crime. Okay, so the keycard found in Ron's wallet used on October 12th, the night of the crime at 1 a.m. But that means it can't be Mr. DeLite dressed up as Mask the Mask in this photo. Ha. It looks like you're right. 2 minutes isn't even enough time to brew a good cup of joe. So then... Ron DeLite was clearly in the office of KB Security CEO at the time of the crime. The prosecutor's office is ready to admit that fact. Therefore, it's impossible for the defendant to be Mask the Mask. Good job, you did it, Nick! Alright, that's enough. I came personally close to besmirching the records of an innocent young man. Besmirching him with the title of thief. Well, you already did that, so I don't think it's really going to matter all that much. What's wrong, Your Honor? I'm ready to pass judgment, but before I do that, do you have any further objections? No, Your Honor. Very well. The court finds the defendant, Mr. Ron DeLite. Hey! That was a short chapter. Well, now we need to investigate Kane. Well, now the question is what's going to happen to Kane Bullard, since he was clearly blackmailing Mask to Mask into doing things for him. Alright, so that court case is over and done with. October 13, 2:24 p.m., District Court Defendant Lobby number 4. We were in there for most of the... That did not happen. Well, I guess that it could have happened, but in any case. Nick, you did it! You were right after all. Actually, I'm a little ashamed of myself. Why? Nicky boy! Oh, Mr. Light. I knew you could do it. I believed in you all along, Nicky boy. I don't know how I can ever repay you. Shucks. Thanks, Mr. Light. I just know I'm blushing. Congratulations, Mr. Nick! Oh, pearls! I've got a bad feeling about this. Huh? Who is this woman? Oh, she's nobody. She's just, You're blushing. How dare you do this in front of Mystic Maya? You should be ashamed of yourself. I didn't do anything. Youch! She slapped me. Pearly? This woman is Miss Desiree DeLite. She's our client's wife. Well, Mr. Nick! Yes? Okay, this is gonna get worse before it gets better. You're even worse than I thought. Going behind the back of your own client. No. You got it all wrong. I'll never forgive you. Did she just slap me again? Ow! A double slap. Well, anyway, all's well that ends well, right? We've got the Sacred Urn back and the thief has been caught. You're so right, and it's all thanks to Nicky Boy here. But actually it was you, Miss DeLite, that brought us our urn back. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Oh, please, you're embarrassing me. If we won the case, then why does this guy still look so glum? But I am the thief. Actually, what's the point now? What is it, honey? I did my best for you, Ronnie. I know that, and I appreciate it, Desi. But the thing is... Come on, give the kid some time. Hello? He's just got a little touch of the blues. You know about feeling blue, right, amigo? Mr. Goto, what are you doing here? Oh, come on. I just came here to say thanks to my newest buddy. You, Mr. Trite. Maybe you should learn my name before you call me buddy. Well, playtime is over. Huh? Early this morning, the body of King Bullard was discovered. King Bullard? Where have I heard the name before? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I know what's going on now. Now it's a murder trial. Now I get it. That's how it connects. So the story's not over. We just proved that Ron DeLite was at KB Security meeting with the CEO, but now he's turned up dead. So now it's a murder trial. Isn't that the name of the CEO at KB Security? Wait, but body. The estimated time of death was 1 a.m. on October 12th. 1 a.m. on October 12th? You don't mean... That's right, amigo. At the same time that a cheap little urn was being stolen, the CEO of KB Security was being murdered. So then, what are you doing here? We just proved that he may have we just pointed out that his alibi was that he murdered... Oh, no. Oh, no. So now we gotta prove that... So now we gotta prove the exact opposite now, don't we? We gotta prove that he didn't murder the dude. Oh, come on. You figured it out already, haven't you, amigo? Or have you already forgotten about that piece of info I helped you out with today? Helped me out? What? On October 12th at 1 o'clock in the morning, Ron DeLite was in the CEO's office, the scene of the murder. After getting that blackmail letter, he must have been imbued with utter rage. What are you saying? Imbued with rage? Come on, don't tell me you didn't know. Ron DeLite was once an employee at KB Security. Oh, so he doesn't work there anymore. He was a professional security guard. An employee at KB Security? It looks like the alibi that saved him from being convicted as a thief is going to be the noose that gets him hanged. Kind of an anti-alibi. No way. Well, now it's time to do a murder investigation. He can't be the thief because he was at the murder scene when the murder occurred. No, that's a lie. It can't be true. But I am a thief, I tell you. Ron DeLite, you're going back to prison again. This time, the charge is much more serious. This time you'll be tried for murder. What? This is impossible. Yeah, Phoenix screwed up. He got him acquitted, but he got his client acquitted for theft, but, now because of Phoenix, his client is now going to be charged with murder, and Phoenix is going to have to undo that. Ooh, this is interesting. I'm looking forward to another exciting showdown, Mr. Trite. You and I aren't through with each other yet. Surely you won't back down from a challenge. You've never been a coward. Mr. Nick, is there something personal between you two? No. I've never met this guy before. I have no idea who the hell this guy even is. I have returned from the depths of hell to do battle with you. At least, let me have some fun while I'm here. This guy, who the heck is he? He may be quiet, but he's the most dangerous enemy I've ever faced. Well then, time to say goodbye to Mr. DeLite. Nick? How could this be happening? Right in front of our very eyes, our client has been arrested for murder. And the one who established his presence at the scene was me. Yeah, Ronnie! This is problematic. Arrested for murder on the very same day he's declared innocent of a larceny. What the heck is going to happen next? That's my job. That's what I'm going to find out. To be continued. Ooh, boy, that was interesting. All right, well, I'm a little interested to see how this is actually going to shake out. So, long story short, we were able to prove that Ron DeLite wasn't Master Mask, but by doing so, he got arrested for murder, and now we have to prove that is a lie as well to be able to defend him. So that's going to be interesting. Also, it's very interesting that he seems to be completely in denial of the fact that he didn't steal something. So, maybe that might be why he wanted to be arrested of larceny, so that he was no longer being arrested of murder. That would make a bit of sense. But yeah. So he was trying to cover the fact that he couldn't be arrested of murder. So that's okay. That makes a bit of sense actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, can't be arrested. He was trying to do a plea bargain for a lesser sentence. He was trying to do a plea bargain for a lesser crime so that he wouldn't be charged with murder. That actually makes a bit of sense. He was trying to establish that he did indeed steal the Sacred Urn, so that way he couldn't be charged with murder, because I think double jeopardy is the thing that covers him for that. So yeah, that's very interesting. But in any case, I think I'm going to leave this episode here. This just got a heck of a lot interesting. I'm interested to see how this story is actually going to shake out. So now we have to find a way to actually prove that Ron DeLite is not indeed a murderer. And I'm interested to see where that story is going to go. So this case is kind of like two stories in one. We got the first case done and dusted. We proved that Ron DeLite couldn't have been Master Mask, but now because of that, now it's going to be a murder trial. Is this the first time where they've actually done true trials in one episode? I think it might be. I think it might be the first time we've gotten a case where there's been two different trials, each for a different crime. That's interesting. But in any case, I think I'm going to leave this episode here, and we're going to figure that out for next time. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on Twitter in the description below. Also, be sure to check out my Patreon in the description below as well. If you want to help support me, it's only a couple bucks a month. It does help me out, and you guys get access to a bunch of cool perks. I'm always saying thanks. So be sure to check those out in the description below as well. And also, be sure to check out my Twitch down in the description below as well. I stream every Sunday, Eastern Standard Time, schedule permitting. I will let you guys know if a stream's not happening, but otherwise, I will be streaming every Sunday, 2:30 Eastern Standard Time, so be sure to check those out. And finally, if you guys want to see more content from me, then be sure to check out the videos linked in the end screen. The top video is the most recent video. It may or may not be this one. Whereas the bottom video is the video recommended to you based on what you've already seen from me. So, if you want to try something new, or see more of what you like, then be sure to check both of those videos out. But, regardless of whether or not you do any or all of those things, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, we'll see you guys in the next video.